What happens when the hottest rookie in the NFL doesn't even need to step on the field to dominate headlines? That was the question echoing across Cleveland through sports talk shows, and all over social media after a single preseason weekend. A weekend that was supposed to be Dillon Gabriel's chance to shine. His moment to step out of the shadows and prove he belonged in the Browns' quarterback conversation has turned instead into a reminder that football is just as much about aura and presence as it is about arm strength or accuracy. Because while Gabriel was fighting to steady himself in his debut, Shedeur Sanders, the rookie phenom who didn't play a single snap that night, somehow walked away as the biggest story in the league. This wasn't an accident. This was the power of momentum, timing, and swagger colliding at the perfect moment. The Browns thought they had a quarterback competition on their hands. What they got was something much more complex. They had one rookie, Dillon Gabriel, who came in with a strong college resume, an accurate arm, and a chance to prove he could command an NFL offense. And then there was Shedeur Sanders, a young man who had already become more than a player before he ever stepped. On an NFL field, Sanders wasn't just a quarterback. He was a movement, was a brand. He was the face of a new generation of football, and the Browns were suddenly caught in the middle of trying to balance tradition with inevitability. To understand how we even got here, we have to rewind to Sanders' NFL debut. It wasn't supposed to be that big of a deal. Cleveland wanted to ease him into the league, let him take a few snaps, maybe make a couple of throws, and then quietly shift the focus back to their veterans. That was the plan. But plans don't survive contact with reality. Against the Carolina Panthers, Shedeur didn't just show up, he took over. He completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he added 19 yards on the ground with his legs. Those numbers, on their own, tell a decent story. But what made the night unforgettable was how Sanders looked doing it. His timing was perfect. His decisions sharp, and his poise in the pocket reminded fans of quarterbacks who were already legends. He didn't look rattled, didn't look like someone adjusting to the speed of the NFL. He looked like he belonged. When the pressure came, he stood tall. When defenders closed in, he delivered clean throws. And perhaps most importantly, he looked unshaken by the weight of the moment. His first time in an NFL uniform didn't feel like a test run, felt like an audition for the starting job right then and there. The football world noticed. All inside. The locker room, veterans praised his command. Outside, fans and analysts were buzzing. The broadcast drew 2.2 million viewers, nearly setting a preseason record. People weren't just watching a game. They were watching the beginning of a story. As if that wasn't enough, Nike immediately seized the moment, rolling out a sleek, 5-word campaign around Sanders that elevated him from promising rookie to cultural phenomenon. Overnight, Sanders became the rookie to watch, not just in Cleveland, but across the entire NFL. And that's where the stage was set for. Dillon Gabriel. When the Browns announced Gabriel would start against the Eagles, fans leaned in, wanted to see if he could carry the same poise, the same momentum, and maybe even rival Sanders' electricity. Gabriel's college career at Oklahoma had been built on precision and composure. He was accurate, he was efficient, and at his best, he was fearless. Now, finally healthy after a nagging hamstring injury, this was his moment to prove he belonged in the conversation. For a while, it seemed like he just might. Gabriel completed 13 of 18 passes for 143 yards. His throws on slants and quickouts were crisp. During a 2-minute drill late in the first half, he marched Cleveland down the field with confidence, putting them in range for a field goal. Analysts pointed out how comfortable he looked in Kevin Stefanski's offense, which is no small task for any rookie. It wasn't spectacular, but it was steady. And in the delicate chess match of preseason quarterback battles, steady can sometimes be enough. But football doesn't reward almost in the second quarter. Gabriel made the kind of mistake that rookies can't afford in moments like these. Pressed near the sideline, he forced a throw into coverage. Eagles rookie Andrew Makuba read it perfectly, jumped the route, and took it all the way back for a pick six. Gabriel's first career touchdown pass had gone to the other team. The momentum shifted instantly, and if that wasn't damaging enough, Gabriel followed it with another self-inflicted wound. Simple handoff exchange with Pierre Strong slipped through his fingers. The ball tumbled to the turf, and the Eagles scooped up another opportunity. 2 turnovers in one half, both preventable, both devastating. Gabriel's completion percentage and yardage looked fine on paper, but the story on the field was very different. The story was of a young quarterback losing his grip on a battle he couldn't afford to lose. Normally, but not this time. Because in Cleveland, everything Gabriel did was being measured against Shedeur Sanders. And Sanders didn't even need to step on the field to make Gabriel's mistakes echo 10 times louder. Gabriel walked off the field. With doubt written across his stat sheet, Sanders sat on the sidelines, injured, but still commanding attention. Sanders didn't stay quiet either. After the game, he posted a sharp, cutting 5-word response on social media. "Don't lose that energy. I'll be back very soon." It was simple, it was direct, and it was devastating. Fans instantly interpreted it as a jab at Gabriel, a reminder that the real show hadn't even begun yet. In that moment, the conversation wasn't about Gabriel's completions or missed opportunities. It was about Sanders' aura, his words, his timing, his presence. That's the difference between these two rookies. Gabriel is fighting for every inch of credibility, trying to prove that he deserves patience and trust. Sanders doesn't have to fight for it, commands it. His debut already cemented him as a star in the making, and his off-field presence has only strengthened that image. Nike campaigns, national headlines, viral clips. Even his interactions with referees and teammates, calm, respectful, poised, became part of the story. In an NFL preseason usually defined by throwaway games and forgettable performances, Sanders had turned himself into must-watch TV. And yet the Browns' official depth chart tells a very different story. Joe Flacco, the veteran, sits at the top. Kenny Pickett, for now, remains ahead. Dillon Gabriel, despite the turnovers, is still penciled in above Sanders. Coaches insist it's about patience, about experience, about making sure the young guys are ready when the time is right. They remind the media that the quarterback competition is being filmed as part of the team's YouTube docuseries, Man Center, a project that emphasizes the long game, the process, and steady development. But fans aren't patient. It's not after seeing Sanders light up the field, not after Gabriel's debut left them unconvinced. The truth is, depth charts are political. They protect veterans. They balance egos. They try to keep order in a locker room, full of personalities. But the court of public opinion doesn't care about politics. It cares about what it sees. And what fans see is simple. One rookie who looks ready now, another who looks like he still needs time. That's why Gabriel's struggles feel so magnified. That's why Sanders' every move feels monumental. The contrast couldn't be more striking. On paper, both rookies had respectable numbers. But football isn't played on paper. It's played in moments. And in those moments, Sanders thrived, while Gabriel faltered. Sanders' debut was clean, efficient, and inspiring. Gabriel's was marred by mistakes that flipped momentum in seconds.